let's do another review. Okay, so this here is my new laptop, my new computer. I have had this for a little under a month now. This is the new MacBook Pro M4 Pro. Because I'm a pro, I needed the Pro. So I've been using this computer for the last month. I've been using it for work, I've been using it to edit a few YouTube videos that are still yet to come out. I'm waiting just for some more footage to come in from another filmmaker, Miles. Please send me that footage because I'm dying to have it. The video is gonna be amazing and I can't wait to share it all with you, like in its full glory. I'm really pumped on it. The Tonics crew is pumped on it and I can't wait to get it out. This is not a video about that. This here is a video about the new MacBook Pro, my thoughts on it as an editing machine, photos, video. I'm not going to dive into the specs. I will briefly touch on them, tell you which configuration I got, what I'm upgrading from, and how it's just affected my workflow using the new MacBook Pro. Yeah, let's just dive into it. I have notes now. Look at this. I have notes to make sure I stay on track and this doesn't end up being a 20-minute video. Yeah, I wanna shrink them down. Okay, so the last MacBook Pro I was using was the Intel i9. One sec, I need to read this. You are coming from the Intel i9, 16 gigabytes of RAM with some graphics card and 1 terabyte of storage. I think it was like the Radeon 550 Pro or something. It was one of the higher end MacBooks when they were using Intel. I think it was the 2019 16-inch, one of the last great MacBooks to come out of Apple before they moved over to the M1 and Apple Silicon. And that MacBook served me so well for, what is it, like 4 years? 4 years now. Yeah, 2019, 2020, 2021, 4 or 5 years, depending on how you want to do the math. 4 or 5 years, that MacBook served me well. It's what I used to edit all these YouTube videos, what I used to do my work as a professional photographer and filmmaker. The MacBook was amazing and it did everything. Did everything I needed to. Did I really need to upgrade? Meh, maybe, maybe not. One could make the argument no, and that the MacBook could have gotten me by in the next few years of my editing career. But I wanted something that is going to keep up with the new technology, the new AI modules, well, just faster exports actually. That was my main thing. I was just kind of tired of how long the exports would take. Like, I would edit some photos, edit a video, and then I'll hit export and go, alright, that's time to go get a snack, make a coffee, do some house chores, watch a YouTube video, because the MacBook would literally take like half an hour to an hour, depending on the project, depending on the photos. It started to show its age. Okay, so I'd like to first touch on a few things that were kind of making me frustrated with the old MacBook versus what I thought in my head before I bought the computer, what I thought the new computer was going to solve. What issues was I having towards the end of the MacBook Pro's lifespan? So number one, first of all, is the speed, the export times, the rendering, the playback, during editing, the speed of the computer. It was starting to show its age. I'm now using like 4K footage with higher bit depth. I was shooting on a C70. I have DJI drone footage, and that holds any computer. Any computer. It's just DJI drone footage for some reason is in such a compressed container. It sucks no matter what computer you're using. So I was using drone footage. I was using like a myriad of cameras, and a lot of these cameras now, they shoot in a way more compressed format, a compressed container that your computer now has to uncompress to see the data and get it onto the timeline and render out, and that just slows everything down. And that's an issue. You don't want to have to slow down when you're in the thick of things, when you just got back from a shoot and you're like, I can't wait to edit this video, or I upload this footage onto my computer and I'm like, I can't wait to start editing, and then editing, it just grinds to a halt because your computer is going Give me a second. Do we need proxies? And I don't like proxies. I hate making proxies. It's just more storage that I have to put on the hard drives. It's more rendering I have to do before I actually get to start editing, and I just love editing. So the speed of the old computer was something I was hoping that the new one fixed. And spoiler alert, it fixed it. But a few other issues I was having was just the fact I had a 16-inch laptop. That's a big commitment. A 16, hold on. I've given my old laptop to my mum, so mum, I hope you're enjoying it. But it makes this review kind of hard because now I've got nothing to show. But a 16-inch laptop is a big commitment, and not everybody wants to carry that laptop around. And the only reason why I went with the 16-inch MacBook is because I wanted all of the power that came with it. As you can see, this is a much smaller MacBook. I mean, you can't because you have no scale of reference, but I just need you to know this is the 14-inch MacBook. I went backwards. I downscaled, I went back to the 14-inch MacBook. By the way, what a thumbnail, like a YouTube thumbnail, just thumbnail, second thumbnail, YouTuber things. But as you can see, much smaller computer. And that just means that I can now fit it into other bags, smaller bags. And the big thing is, it's lighter. I don't know how much lighter exactly, I'll throw up the numbers here, but it's significantly lighter where I don't feel like it's a chore having to bring my computer around. So we'll go to a shoot and it's like, oh, we're gonna be dumping footage, dumping photos on location, bring your computer. And I just go, oh, I don't wanna bring my computer. It's big, it's a commitment, it's heavy, it's not fun. I decided to go back, get a 14-inch MacBook when I upgraded, because the only difference between the two MacBooks now is really screen size. I mean, yes, the heatsink and the fan is bigger and smaller comparatively, but I don't think that's an issue because these things are like power efficient, they run quiet, they run cool. I'm spoiling everything, but just give me a second. Another issue I was having is that when I did bring it out and about and I was doing editing on the go, I was just typing documents or what have you, is that the battery would just not last. The battery on the old MacBook, no. Just no. I would turn on the MacBook and I would start editing, start writing a document, watch a YouTube video, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you have 40% battery left, and I'm like, dude, I've been on this thing for like 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Yes, I know editing is taxing and it uses resources, but you know, it's a laptop. I'm like, I want good battery life. So those were kind of my issues with the old 16-inch, and now let me tell you how the new one just resolves all of those issues. Like, okay, so first up off the bat, battery is phenomenal. I can do editing, Final Cut, Lightroom, whatever. I can do editing on battery and not worry that the MacBook's just gonna die in seconds. I got home one day and I was just sitting on the couch and I opened my MacBook, plugged in my SSD, started editing some photos. I think I was editing for almost an hour and a half, and it went from like 90% to 70%, which is like, what? Only 20%, hour and a half editing. That would have just killed the 16-inch MacBook. It would have been done. It would have been like, nah, I'm gonna tap out, 10% left. This one here, just amazing, amazing. Okay, so I've been editing photos here, as you can see, for about, I think it just said an hour. Yeah, hour, first of all, hour and 21 minutes, time on battery, hour and 21 minutes, processing photos, AI, Lightroom, denoise and that sort of stuff. We are on 76% battery, which is awesome. Like, what? Okay, so which model of MacBook did I get? I got the 14-inch M4, I'm just gonna read it again. 14-inch M4 Pro, the 14 CPU, 20 core GPU, 2 terabytes of SSD, 48 gigabytes of RAM, and the nano texture display. That's a spec'd out Mac. That cost a lot. Okay guys, just want to be real for 1 second. I am severely broke now because of this purchase. If you would like to donate money, please reach out to me and I will send you my PayPal, my Cash App, my Vimeo, bank account, whatever. My Patreon. I'll start an OnlyFans, guys. Please support me. I'm so broke. So that was the specs of the MacBook I got. Let's talk about the power and the performance. So Final Cut playback, smooth as butter. Smooth as butter. Whether it's a vlog or a bigger event, I shot, here's a good one. We filmed a Tonics gig on 7 cameras. 7 cameras all shooting 4K. Most of them were shooting 10-bit. Yeah, most of them were shooting 10-bit color, 422. And the playback, smooth as butter. I did the synchronize clips, create multicam option you have in Final Cut Pro, and I just let it do its thing, and then I can just hit the space bar, watch the playback, and then if you've done multicam editing, you just hit the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you switch between the camera angles. That super smooth, like it's so smooth. I don't understand. My old MacBook would have been able to do it, but it would have hiccuped. You would have hit the space bar, would have had to take a second, start playback, you'd make a cut, the frame would it would drop a frame, and then you just would be a little bit behind while it renders and catches up, makes the cut, and then catches up. So my old computer could do it, but this one just does it so much smoother, so much efficient. I don't know, it's just better. And then Lightroom, like photo editing is not something I consider heavy and demanding of a computer. Like with the new AI mask features, the new AI denoise, the new AI denoise feature in Lightroom, that will take a toll on the old computer. But now that these new MacBooks, they have, what do they call them? The neural engine? Is that what it's called? That these new MacBooks have the neural engine, which is a dedicated part of this chip that is just for AI-based tasks. So it takes off load of the CPU, takes off load of the GPU to do these AI-based tasks, which we're finding more and more in a lot of these softwares. So you got your AI denoise, you got your AI masks in Final Cut. There's just a lot of AI features that this computer is just built to handle. And I'm sure the 48 gigabytes of RAM also helps with that, so, you know. But Lightroom just runs, again, smooth as butter. I think the lack of app optimization does let this fan spin up a little bit more, or maybe it is optimized, I don't know, but this thing is dead silent. It is quiet most of the time, 80% of the time, 90% of the time. Yes, when I'm starting to do super heavy, intense tasks, the fans spin up. You know, that kind of makes sense, but they don't spin up anywhere near as much as the 16-inch. As soon as I open Final Cut, as soon as I open Lightroom, it's a jet engine just waiting to take off. This new MacBook, it's only when it comes to like exporting or like the heavy AI stuff where the computer fans start to kick in and you hear it, but you don't hear it like a, it's more of a, like it's easier. I also got the nano texture display. Now, personally, I'm not a matte display fan. I just don't like how the colors and the brightness can be affected from the matte display, but upon watching the reviews, apparently a lot of it is like mitigated. It's not too much of an issue, and having used it now, oh yeah, the colors are still color accurate, the brightness is still bright, the contrast is great, everything is still like exactly as I remember it from the 16-inch, just better. And now I don't have that glare that was just annoying me like at every cafe. Anytime I had the MacBook and you're adjusting the lid and you're like, I need a better angle so the light's not reflecting so heavily. Now the matte display, the nano texture display, gone are the days, and yet we're still looking at color accurate and vivid brightness, contrast, all of that stuff that we rely on these monitors. Like, I just bought a new monitor because I went from the 14-inch to the 16-inch, and at the office I work at, they have 27-inch monitors. I started editing on those 27-inch monitors and I went, I can't go back to my 16-inch laptop, let alone the 14-inch laptop I'm about to buy. So I went out and bought like a 32-inch Samsung monitor, and that also is another reason why I went with a 14-inch. I saved my money on the 16 so I can get a better monitor. Work harder, not smarter. So everything is great about it, but of course it's great, Vipop. You have like one of the highest spec models, and when I was looking at buying this model and what SKU I should get, I wasn't sure, but I think if you're a professional photographer and filmmaker, you should just go for the highest SKU that you can afford, because that's what I did with the 16-inch and it served me great for 4 years. That's what I've done with this one, and hopefully it will last me at least another 4 years, hopefully more, because these things are very expensive, but the results it outputs, like it just makes everything smoother. My workflow is just way more streamlined. I'm excited again to start editing because I don't dread that my computer is just going to slow down and it's going to ruin my flow of creativity. So if you are a working professional, my advice to you is to get at least the M4 Pro, whether it's the binned model or the non-binned model like I have, and get as much RAM as you can afford. I think it starts out at now 18 gigs. Okay, so if you get the M4 Pro, it does start you out on 24 gigabytes of memory. That's like the minimum I would go if you're a working professional or you want to be a working professional. I'd go at least the M4 Pro, again, binned or non-bin chipped. 24 gigabytes of memory should be heaps because I was using 16 for the longest time, and that was heaps. It depends again what software you're running. I use Final Cut, so that is like super optimized, and Lightroom and Photoshop aren't the most heavy intensive app. If you use Premiere, you're gonna want a lot of help. You're gonna want to just pray, because Premiere can be a resource hog. But from what I've heard, Premiere runs really well on the new M series of chips, so I imagine that my computer will just like brute force its way to Premiere and be like, you're gonna run smoothly. So all in all, I really do enjoy the new MacBook Pro. I love it. As you can tell, I'm excited about this video. I'm excited about the product. I'm excited. It's everything I've wanted, but I do have one issue. I have one issue with the MacBook Pro, and it's not a big issue. It's just, let me explain. Right, you see those holes in the side of the MacBook and the holes on the other side? Now, a lot of people have praised the new design for giving us back things like the headphone jack. The headphone jack was always there. Things like MagSafe or HDMI and the SD card slot. Now, while I do appreciate the SD card slot, as a photographer that has a camera that shoots CF Express or this Atomos Ninja that is just an SSD, I still have to use adapters. I have to use this Angel Bird adapter to get my Atomos Ninja footage. I have to use this Lexar adapter to get my CF Express cards. So the SD card, yeah, I still have SD cards. I still use SD cards, but I'm not complaining about the SD card slot. I am complaining that I now only have 3 Thunderbolt USB-C ports. It's a small complaint. It's a very small complaint. So, on my old MacBook, which had 4 USB-C ports, I would plug in directly to the monitor at the office or at my home. It will connect display, it will start charging the MacBook. And then, using the other 3 ports, I will put a SSD into the back, which I am going to be using for the current project, photo or video. The front one I will use for my CF Express card reader and SD card built into one, so it's the 2 readers in one port. And then I could use the 4th port for Ethernet or another SSD. Because I only have 3 USB-C ports now, something has to give. I can only do display and power in one. The current project I'm working on, whichever CF Express card or Atomos Ninja I'm importing, and that's it. I was about to do 4, but I've only got 3 now. So I can only use it for those 3 tasks. Now, it's not a big issue again. There's one port I wish wasn't there, and we replaced it with USB-C. Now, I know what a few of you are thinking is, oh, Vipop, just use the new built-in HDMI port on the computer to connect to your monitor. Now, that's great. That's fine. Whatever. I can do that, but then I have to also plug in a separate cable to charge, and that's not an issue. That's not a big issue. It's not. It's a big issue if they're not on the same side. Okay, so let's pretend this is the old MacBook. It had 2 USB-C ports here, 2 USB-C ports here. So I would plug the MacBook, like stand it upright in one of those dock things, and the 2 cables at the back would be hard drive and monitor. So those cables are going out there, and the one on the front will be my card reader and another SSD, or we would go Ethernet, monitor, card reader, SSD, depending on how ours work. Now, if I was to say, you know, use the HDMI port, like, you know, people just tell me to, they just say use the HDMI port, that's fine. Okay, so now the HDMI port is going out and around the monitor, keeping my desk clear of cables, but now I've got to charge it. Well, the charging port's from this side. So the monitor cable is from this side here, going that way, and the charging cable's going the other way. Again, it's a small issue, but oh man, it's killing me. It's killing me. And what really frustrates me about this is that I have, hold on, 1 second. So here's how I solved the issue of not having a HDMI port on the MacBook Pro 16-inch, is that I simply went and got this cable, that's a HDMI cable on one end, and then USB-C on the other. So I would just go from monitor, HDMI, to USB-C, straight into the computer. I didn't need an adapter, it just went straight into the computer because HDMI on one end, USB-C on the other. HDMI can be completely replaced with USB-C. If Apple had just put USB-C where that stupid HDMI port was, perfect computer, hats off. But because they didn't, I have one thing to complain about, and that's it. I'm really worked up about this, but I need you to understand Okay, so I hope you liked that video, guys, learned something, and it was insightful. If you were looking at getting this new MacBook Pro and you were thinking, oh, is it as good as people are saying? Yes, yes it is. The power, the efficiency, the battery, all of it is amazing. The matte display, just, I will not stop yapping about this. Like my friend Lorelai, I send her videos and I tell her how fast the computer is, and she's probably sick of me. She's sick of me, 100%, but that's how amazing this computer is. So if you are looking at being like a creative photographer, filmmaker, whatever, and you're trying to decide which computer to get, Windows or Mac, mate, if you're not going for a Mac at this point, I don't know what's gonna convince you, because arguably they are the fastest. And if you don't believe me, we'll just finish up with some real world tests that I performed before I got rid of my old Mac. So we did an hour and 21 minutes of editing photos on battery, went from 90% to 70%. That's pretty impressive. The export of 131 photos took 18 minutes on the new M4 MacBook, and I saw that, I went, that seems high, that seems a little slow. What was the 16-inch? I did the same export on the 16-inch, 32 minutes, 32 minutes. It was almost double the amount of time on the 16-inch Intel one. One 41-second clip, it wasn't the most built out timeline, it was a very basic clip, just 41 seconds, promo sort of thing, had color, slow-mo, AI masks, effects, that sort of stuff. On battery, the M4 took 1:18 on battery. The Intel computer took 7 minutes and 15 seconds. So that's quite a big difference, right? We're going from 1:18 to 7 minutes 18. 7 minutes 15. On power, this 41-second clip was exported in 38 seconds. That's faster than real time. The Intel computer on power was 5 minutes and 39 seconds. And then I had this 6-minute vlog excerpt, this 6-minute vlog that I've been editing, and this isn't a light vlog. There was text, titles, transitions, effects, masking, AI masking, which I guess kind of falls into masking, but AI masking, and then all of these different like effects that I have in my vlogs and all these videos and this sort of stuff here that you see on YouTube. That normally took like 30 to 40 minutes on the Intel MacBook, depending again on the video. That 6-minute video took 2 minutes and 20 seconds to export. This thing is faster than real time in exporting. But here's the kicker that had me just go gobsmacked. Remember that multicam video I was telling you about? Yeah, so that had an hour of Blackmagic raw footage that was 150 gigabytes. I had to take that raw footage and encode it to ProRes so Final Cut could read the file. And I just thought, oh, this is gonna slow down my workflow. It's gonna just drag everything to a halt, drag it into DaVinci. And I hit export to ProRes. Going from Blackmagic RAW to ProRes. It took 15 minutes to export this hour Blackmagic RAW footage into ProRes. I mean, that's insane. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and it helped you make an informed decision about which MacBook you should go with, and if you are on the fence of Windows PC or MacBook, if this video didn't convince you, I don't know what will. I don't know what will. Have a good morning, evening, and night, whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.